Animation is hard.
Come on!
Animation is harder if you don't know what you're doing. I learned this the hard way. See, I'm about 30 episodes deep into my series Somewhere Nowhere / The Green Show. And after rewatching the first 3 episodes of my series, I realized that, well, they're not very good. And that's fine, I had to start somewhere, right? Alright, let's take a look at the things I did wrong during the first 3 episodes of my series, Somewhere Nowhere, so you don't make the same preventable mistakes when you start your series, which I think you should do. This is Making an Animated Series, How to Not Ruin Your First Episodes. To get a baseline, let's watch a clip from episode 2, No More Truckin'. So how are we getting out of this pickle and finding a new stoplight changing box?
Oh, here we go.
Oh, you're climbing. You're getting taller. What are you doing?
Okay, Green. And, what was your name? Did we ever get your name?
Big Man. That is a lovely name. Where are you from? I showed you guys the Newgrounds version so you could see some of the framing issues I had here. I mean, you can straight up see Green's mouth not moving because it was in frame. I don't think this happened on the YouTube version, but still important to note. Good? Okay, well, let's look at episode 8 from The Green Show, which came out this year. Also, check it out. I got fan mail for The Green Show.
That's pretty cool. Let's put it on the ground gently and open it up. Don't want to ruin any kind of like mug or painting or anything fragile. Holy cow! Oh boy! What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Okay, step back.
I would like to think there's a pretty big difference here. Right off the bat, could you tell the difference between Green's voice and Porkchop's voice? They sound pretty similar, and the commenters thought that too. Lesson number 1, differentiate your voices. Green is just my regular speaking voice. But Porkchop here is just my voice with my cheeks pulled back, and then pitched down 10% in Audacity. I thought this was enough, apparently not. After episode 3, his voice changed to this.
Hey, you good?
Lesson number 2, don't skimp on your character rigs. This only applies if you're doing a form of rigged animation. Rigged animation is kind of like a puppet show where your characters are separate components that can be reused, moved, and modified. So if you take a look here, Green's eyes, mouth, body, arms, and legs are all just separate pieces that I can rotate and move around the screen. So before you start animating, you have to build the rig. When I built my rigs, I knew I wanted to keep it as simple as possible. I could have spent weeks drawing every single hand, mouth, and expression, but instead, I opted to make a set of components that I thought would suffice. I undershot it. You need to have a happy medium between having too many components and not enough components. If you make too many components, well, you might as well have just done frame-by-frame animation. But if you make too little, you're going to be struggling every step of the way to find the right arm or mouth or leg. Take a look at this. Look at this lip sync. I was struggling to find the right mouth here. Look how stiff this animation is. I gave Green like 3 arms to choose from. In fact, if you look at Green's arms through the first couple episodes of the series, you'll notice his hand is backwards. And at first I thought this will be an artistic choice, but I kind of came to realize it was because I didn't want to make an arm that was facing the correct way. Side note related to rigs, if you're going to have a character with words on their shirt, like Big Man here, remember that when you flip them over the Y-axis, the words are going to reverse too. So make sure you have another version of that body or that shirt with the words inverted, otherwise you'll end up with a shot like this. Okay, lesson number 3. Have someone review your work if possible. I know it can be tough to send off your work, especially if it's a work in progress, off to other people to be criticized and reviewed, but that's how you get better. Now, obviously, if you're going to send it to people who aren't going to give you constructive criticism, skip those people. But for the people that will give you real feedback, like someone in your audience, that's perfect. Get their feedback and incorporate that. I started sending my cartoons in rough phases to my family and friends after episode 2, and I'm really glad I did. They've caught countless audio issues, animation errors, and have made suggestions to make the show better, and more appropriate for a larger audience. I don't know if I've shared this before, but there's a lot of scenes that have been cut from both Somewhere Nowhere and The Green Show because they weren't appropriate. Remember episode 1 of The Green Show, where they're looking at deleted scenes from episode 3? That's real. It wasn't in good taste. Remember in episode 4 where Larry's doing Zumba for men? That's not the original joke. There's a deleted scene somewhere that is way less appropriate, and I was asked to change it. There's even a full intro to episode 8 that got scrapped because of an inappropriate joke, but that one's on my Twitter. It's all about getting rapid feedback. Alright, lesson number 4. Learn about your software. So, I'm using Adobe Animate for the series, which I personally love. mainly because I'm very comfortable with it. Despite being comfortable with it, I realize that there's a lot of things that I don't know about the software. See, when you're animating, you should be focused on the art, the movement, the backgrounds, the story, all of it. And your software should be a conduit between you and your art, and you shouldn't be fighting it. During the first few episodes, I realized that I was spending so much time fighting my software that I was spending more time on that than actually making the artwork. Let's take a look at an old Flash file. Look at all of these layers. There's 40 layers here. There shouldn't be 40 layers here. I could have simplified this. Anytime I wanted to move a character or move a background or anything, I had to open up one of these folders and search for that in here. It took me a long time. That's why in newer episodes, I actually have one layer with the character on it, and then you can sort the symbols within the frame. Didn't know you could do that. This is also a little embarrassing, but I didn't know about the frame picker tool until fairly recently. So let's say I was trying to do lip sync for Green. Instead of clicking on the mouth and then clicking on the frame picker with the mouth I want, and Adobe Animate making a new keyframe for me, instead I would have to go find the layer, hit F6 to create a new keyframe, click on the mouth, select swap symbol, search for that mouth, and then click on it, and then I have the mouth I wanted. I'm not kidding. I have saved myself weeks of time by finding that. I would also add, learn about hotkeys, and just watch other people animate with your software. It'll make things a lot easier going forward. Number 5, audio. Bad audio can ruin your cartoon really fast. This is the first comment on Newgrounds that I got on episode 2. This is way too loud. It hurts my ears. Work on audio balance, please. Lucko to Stars, you are completely right. Heck, in episode 1, I didn't turn down the volume for the music during the break room scene, and it makes it really hard to watch now. Audio is kind of like working in IT. When you do your job and you're good at it, no one really notices. If you're bad at your job, everyone knows. With that being said, I'm no expert in audio, but I want to share some of the things I did to make my audio go from episode 2 to the Green Show where it is now. Okay, so this is how I record audio. What you're seeing on the screen there is not what you're hearing right now. I know that's a little disorienting. Right now I'm checking the top to make sure I'm not peaking the mic. You'll see me peak the mic here in a second. There it is. It's flat. That's going to sound really bad on the ears. And I'm going to stop it here in a second. There it is. And then I'm going to get rid of some of the larger areas where there's no sound just to help with the timing. There we go. Okay, select all, go to effects. And then we're going to go down to filter curve, and you can see anywhere from 60 hertz and down, I'm kind of cutting out, and then I'm raising the top around 10,000, and then cutting a little bit in the mid to get rid of some of the weird sounds in my voice. Then we hit OK. So now some of the EQ is done. We got to get rid of that mic peak spot. There we go. Then we're going to select everything again. Compressor, so now we're going to go -10 threshold, -30 decibel floor noise, hit OK. Done. Listen back to it. Sounds pretty good. Now to get rid of some of the noise in the background, there's the noise reduction tool that we can use here. So first you have to select the area that has no like talking in it, but it's still just kind of blank sound. Go to noise reduction, you're going to get the noise profile, and then once you do that, you can select the whole waveform right here, and then hit OK, and now you've gotten rid of any kind of like AC noise or ruffling or just small sounds you didn't pick up on at first. The last thing, lesson number 6, is just start sooner. I really wish I would have started work on this series sooner. I was afraid of making something bad. I was afraid of making something someone would call cringe. And maybe it is, but I love doing it. And the more cartoons that I make from start to finish, the happier I am and the better I get at it. We live in a world where you can make stuff like this from home with minimal equipment, and you don't have to rely on a network giving you hundreds of thousands of dollars to make cartoons. So just go do it. Just go do it right now. The summer's about to start, or already have started for some of you, and that's a great time to start working on it. You can bust out several episodes over the summer. That's all I have for right now, and I'm sure I can make a whole slew of videos on the topic, but I think this is a good stopping point. I'll do my best to answer questions in the comments. Leave as many as you want. You guys will be seeing some more Green Show soon. I have a ton of questions in my backlog. Again, thank you for all the questions, and we'll be right back.